Hello everyone, welcome to AK Learnerskul. So today we will discuss about lesson planning and we will just discuss the steps required for lesson planning. So for this we have taken sound of music and only part 1 which deals with Evelyn, Glennie, a renowned musician who is differently abled girl. The story is all about that. So this lesson planning are very essential for the B.Ed as well as D.L.Ed course, and this video is specially designed for Dibrugarh University and it's equivalently applicable for other universities too. So let's start with this. So in this lesson, first of all, we need to give the identification data regarding all the aspects here given in this video. Then comes the general objectives, and what general objectives deals with is the general idea of teaching the entire course of English, what the abilities we want to develop in the pupils of school going students. I mean here specially for class 9 students. So under this age group, what are the general objectives we keep in mind as a teacher, what skill and abilities we want to develop in the students. Here so many skills are developed and accordingly we have set some general objectives, and these general objectives is for entire course, I mean entire book. For the book complete, all the lessons are included, and including all the lessons you will have to think of general objectives of this subject matter, why you are going to teach English or English lesson or English textbook, grammar, everything. Especially here the specific objectives, here you should concentrate on specific objectives. This deals with what specifically this chapter or this unit or the paragraphs chosen for the lesson planning deals with. We have to specify that particular objectives of the teacher which he said before teaching this particular lesson. So we have mentioned so many specific objectives or specific goal we have set, and these are written, and the term like use, define, underline, construct, these all the skills we need to use here. These are the term which actually show whether it is a knowledge will be developed, whether the understanding of the pupils will be developed, or the cognitive ability of the pupil will be developed. We define the objectives in that particular fashion. Teaching aids. So what are the teaching aids required for this chapter? These are general teaching aids. Generally we need the things required in a classroom, but you can also use the specific teaching aids or specific teaching aids, like if you use a chart, model, etc., then you can mention it and also mention what kind of chart you are going to use. And then in the introducing sessions you need to mention about the story. Here you will have to start writing how the teacher enter in a class and how he plays the things around. And here three columns are important steps. Here just write introduction, and then teacher's activities, what the teacher is going to do, and then the pupils activities as per the teacher's activities, what the responses of the students will be, need to be written here. So we have mentioned a story of some another girl who is disabled, and finally he learned how to dance, and finally he achieved so many things in his life. So this is a kind of story we have mentioned here. And then for checking the preliminary knowledges of the story you are going to mention or discuss in a class, you will have to ask some questions in order to check or in order to have a link with the chapter. And then announcement of the topic. After these two things, we need to relate now that here, as we have discussed, a story of a boy who is specially abled and but finally he achieves so many things and learn how to dance and finally achieves success in this field. In this way, we are also going to discuss a particular story of a girl who is famous, who become famous in music, in playing the musical instruments, and especially this lesson, the how this lesson deals with, or what is related, what this lesson is related with. So we have mentioned in this manner, in this fashion, that similar story of a girl, Evelyn Glennie, whose name is Evelyn Glennie, we will discuss in this particular lesson, the sound of music. Then the teacher will write it in the blackboard, and whatever the way he will write in a blackboard and underline it, we have to show it in a lesson plan itself. And then the final stage of preparation, or sorry, presentation. Here it will be presentation. That means the presentation stage will come, how the teacher will prepare his teaching points and his activities for this. So in teaching points, the first teaching point we can notice here is teacher's loud reading. So the teacher will read aloud for all the students with proper stress, intonation and pronunciation, so that the students can understand it in a proper manner. And in a pupil activities, people will follow the book and listen very carefully, and it will develop a learning outcome like the listening skill. In this particular fashion, we need to mention the next teaching point of pupils loud reading. People will read here and pupils will reading skill will be improved, and other people will follow if people only read aloud. Then people's silent reading. Here people will have to silently read the paragraphs so that he or she can find out some difficult words from that. So these are the things we have to mention here, the pupils silent reading. But skill will be developed, like the silent reading skill of the pupils will be developed by this teaching point. Then the meaning of the difficult words. So whatever the difficult words found out by the pupils or the students, will have to find out before that these may be the toughest word or difficult word that are included in the lesson, and we have to mention their meaning as well as a sentence for them. Then in the next teaching point, we need to write about the summary of the two paragraphs we are going to teach today, and accordingly here so many skill will be developed for the students, like listening, speaking. And after this summary, we have to ask some questions from the story, some short questions, so that the students can immediately answer if he understood the content of the lesson. Like here, some knowledge and understanding level questions can be asked, but not application level questions should be asked here in this phrase. Then we have to take the last point, that is grammar point. We have to find out some of portions of grammar in the text. Any kind of grammar you can take here. So I have taken, for example, adjectives. So I have to write the meaning of the adjectives. At the same time, we have to mention some examples. And while setting the examples, you should always keep in mind that you should mention it in complete sentence. It is suggested by teachers that it should be in a complete sentence. Then we have to, after explaining with the help of the example, we have to generalize. See, the pupil will generalize. With the help of the pupil, we have to generalize the definitions we said before, and then that particular definitions which emerged out of the explanation of the examples will have to be written in the blackboard. Then after generalization of the meaning or the definition of the grammar point like adjectives or something, we have to ask some other questions like underline the adjectives from the following sentences, and for evaluation he will have to ask some questions. Even the teacher can also ask to frame some questions with some words or with some adjectives. You'll have to put some adjectives for this case, and it can be asked to the students to frame a sentence, and accordingly pupils' application and understanding level will be improved. In this way we can conclude a particular paragraph, but it should be remembered before conclusion, for the closure of a particular session, what we need in teachers activities, we simply have to mention in a simplified 1 or 2 line the story is all about that, and finally we'll have to ask a few questions. But before that you will have to give a blackboard summary that what we have studied today, like the meaning we have studied, the difficult word and the summary, etc, etc. This blackboard summary will have to be written. Blackboard summary is nothing but what are the points we have discussed today. These are the simplified points we have discussed today. So we have discussed so many points. Importantly, there are some points like the textual fact, and regarding the textual fact we discussed about some questions which we have to mention a single questions from the text, then 1 or 2 questions from the difficult word, as we have taken this difficult word as a teaching point, and then grammar point we have taken. Therefore here also we have to ask a few questions with regard to grammar. Then the evaluation will be completed and we can conclude the sessions or consolidate the class for that particular day. But before closing the class, the teacher will have to appreciate. So in teachers activities we'll have to mention this, that teacher will appreciate the responses, and after appreciating the responses the teacher will try to give a cognitive link. So what is that particular cognitive link? That means in the mind of the pupil the teacher will make it clear that what we have studied. Like here today we have studied the journey of Evelyn, a particular lady which is suffering from hearing disabilities, and finally what we are going to study in the next class, in the next paragraphs of the lesson, we have to give just a hint, and then finally we should put some question as a homework for the students. Here we can give some application level questions, and here also we should remember it is very essential, or it is very good or safe to ask a few questions, from 1 or 2 questions hardly, from the text itself, and then from the difficult word as well as from the grammar point. Then your lesson plan will be a complete lesson plan. Thank you for watching this video. Hope this video will help you out, and if you like this video, please like my channel, share the video so that other can have the benefit of it, and finally you should subscribe, or you can subscribe this channel so that you will get the notifications, and also press the bell icon for that. Thank you.